What is up guys, it is Simba here and welcome back to another team racing video on F1 25, and today we're back in CSS for the Las Vegas Grand Prix, and the title of this one speaks for itself. We have a qualifying ban, so we're not going to be doing qualifying in this video, and as you can see on screen, we're going to be retiring from qualifying. There's a few other cars retiring from qualifying as well, including myself and my teammate for this race, Thomas Covers, for PR. So as you can see, we skipped to the end of qualifying. We're 17th and 18th on the grid, along with Nico Rassenberg and Mashuzo as well. And a very close qualifying, as always, around Las Vegas. The lap is very tight, has very tight margins. So nice to see it being very competitive. But me and Thomas have practiced race sims basically before the race, and we're both feeling very good. So even if we're down in 18th and 17th, we're quietly confident of doing something in the race. We've got the strategy nailed down, which is medium to hard, as you want to get the medium tyre out of the way on this game. The hards are the preferred race tyre, so you want that later on in the Grand Prix. And let's get into it. Let's see what we do. Of course, this game is already revered for being hard to overtake, and we're going to have to do a bit of overtaking in this one. 5 red lights in front of us for the Vegas Grand Prix, and the lights are out, and we are underway in Las Vegas. The Ferrari is going nowhere off the line. We're going up the inside into turn number 1, and we're going to have to stay on this far left side because there's cars on our inside to our right, and we don't want to make any unnecessary contact within the first few corners. But you can see we've managed to get past one of the Haas cars of AMS Parlos, and we're up into P14. We're having a look now AMS Lucas as Paolo sends it right back up the inside, and we make a bit of contact there, and I'm not very amused by that, as Thomas is following us through in P16. We're sending back up the inside of Paulos, going into the Sphere chicane, and we're just going to absolutely send it on the inside. It was imperative that we got past one of the Haas cars at least on this opening lap, so we've managed to do that. Thomas has lost a bit of ground through that chicane, so that's not ideal for him. And onto the end of lap 1, we're in sector 3 now, and we're testing our straight line speed compared to everybody else, and we're not looking too great down the straights, and I'll explain that a little bit later. But going into the end of the first lap, making up 4 places already, it may be 5, because you can see Lucas has made an absolute hash of the final chicane. He hits the wall on the exit, and we're using the overtake button very aggressively on this opening lap. You can see we barely have 30% left by the time we start lap 2, but it's an aggressive start, a very good start, and we're up into P13, and now our race can begin, because my engineer, Ollie Wyatt and Samir were basically telling us that it was crucial to pass the AMS cars, because they didn't seem to be on the same level of pace as everybody else, so it would just prevent us being held up for our slower cars. And now we can actually get our teeth sunk into the action which is going on in front of us, especially with DRS being enabled on lap number 2, as that is the rule that was introduced last year. And you can see ET Azim just in front of us having a bit of a moment, as he is right behind the FRT kick of Max Power, one of the recent signings in the team. So on to lap 3, we'll just settling down, and you can see again our straight line speed isn't the best. You can see they're just pulling away from us before we get to the chicane, where there's going to be side-by-side action. There's an Alpine that's disconnected from this session, and that's all teased. We actually had to restart the entire lobby just for him to reconnect, and he's disconnected in the opening 3 laps, which isn't ideal, but that's another place for us. We're looking for another place already, as we have a look on the inside of Max Power going into turn number 1. We tried to force him into an error there, try and have him take a bit of a wider line through turn 1 to compromise him through turn 2, and it just doesn't quite work. But we're making very good progress. The same can't really be said for our teammate at the moment, who's struggling to make progress, and that is basically because it's hard to overtake on this game. He just wasn't really feeling as comfortable in the actual race compared to when we were practicing together. As on to lap number 6, we do force Max into an unforced error there. We send him the dummy through turn 1. We're now going to try and get a better line through turn 2 and try and challenge him at turn number 3. DRS and the overtake button being used. We're closing in, but not enough. We're going to draw to the right hand side, having a little look on the inside line, and at turn 3 he places the car well, keeps composed, and he stays ahead of us. So it is a little bit annoying. We've tried twice and we haven't got ahead of him yet.
I saw teacher hit the wall. I feel faster than Max, I just can't pass him. Obviously I don't want to take unnecessary risks for P11, so...
And that's a little bit frustrating because ideally you want to get through these cars as quickly as possible, but it's not easy to overtake on this game, as I have reiterated a few times already. And obviously we're P12 right now, we're not exactly fighting for the lead. So we're going to try and just keep going. A few cars have pitted, that's why we've moved up to P11 by the time we get to lap number 8. And my team was suggesting a front wing change because you can see we're losing a lot on the straights. So we're going to pit this lap as an undercut attempt, and we're going to see if we can jump ahead of a few cars, because you can see the top 7 or 8 cars on the minimap have pulled away from our train that we're in right now, and you can see a Williams has decided to box as well. So everyone thinking about an undercut, and we're going to go on a set of hard compound tyres to the end of the race, and we're going to see if this works. We've also made a front wing adjustment, so we've gone from 3-0 wings to 2-0. Now obviously that's going to make things a bit more understeery through the corners, and with the setup change I made, I intentionally made it a bit more understeery beforehand just to make sure we were dealing with tyre wear better. So I wish I hadn't made that change before the race if I knew I was going to change the front wing. So we've got a bit of an understeery setup at the minute, but we're going to see if this undercut has worked out well.
Yeah, I think the cars that were in front of me are boxed, so let's see if this works.
So this is a big moment on lap number 10. Several cars in the pits, and as we go through turn 1, look at this.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's worked. Yeah, great call, lads. Great call.
And you can hear me just praising my engineers there. Ollie and Samir were very helpful through this race, and we're up into P10 in this Vegas Grand Prix. You can see Nico Rassenberg was actually quite close behind us on the outlap at the end of lap number 9, and he's fighting away with a Ferrari as well as we get our first warning for track limits, but that's the only one we're going to get in this race. But yeah, pretty good stuff. Pretty happy with this. Up to P9 as another few cars are pitting, as the pit stop window is well and truly open. Azim has pitted on an overcut attempt on his medium tyres. He's going to be on fresher tyres towards the end of the race, so that's something we're going to have to be aware of. But right now, we're up into P8, and this is our legitimate position.
Yeah, I'm not making a dent on the cars in front just because they've got DRS.
Our pace was feeling good, but we're not catching because the cars in front have DRS.
Go just to... Yeah, I might just let him go just to make sure. Yep. Yeah, I'll just save tyres for a bit, just let him do his own thing.
And as you can see, by the end of lap 13, we're going to let Ortiz go. He looked quite quick in qualifying, and I think he was in that top train before he disconnected. So we're going to let him go. That's going to give us a chance to save our battery, look after our tyres a little bit, considering ours are going to be quite a bit older than everyone around us. And the team were telling me at this point it was going to be crucial to stay ahead of Nico Rassenberg. Now, Nico is a former FRT driver. He was alongside me in that team. We've done a few races together here and there. And he's quite quick, he's quite handy, and even though he's not the most popular figure in the community at the moment, he's a very quick driver. So he's going to want to try and pass us here and make more progress, considering he was one of the 4 cars that also had a qualifying ban as well. So the team was telling me it's crucial to stay ahead of him, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're saving the battery quite nicely as well. But you can see Nico putting us under some pressure. Going into lap 15, we set a personal best, but going into turn 1, we try and squeeze him out on the curb, and you can see we're stuck in 4th gear, which allows him to get so much more momentum through turns 1 and now through 2, we're side by side.
Piss off, Nico, mate.
And you can see I'm not really going to give this up without a fight, because it's crucial to stay ahead at this stage of the race, and we're going to try and outbrake him going into turn 3.
Oh shit, no! Fuck's sake. Fucking idiot.
And that is not ideal. Very frustrating. We went for a spin, our 2nd spin in a row, and that's basically game over because we did get on with it. We managed to catch up to IRT Seab in the McLaren, who's on really old tyres, but we lost a good 6 seconds there to Nico and the cars in front. and you can see that they're not really fighting each other on the minimap either, and they're not really reeling in the top 7. So P8 looked to be our maximum result, and it's gone in the blink of an eye. And now we got our head down, we kept on pushing, we've caught up to C. We've lost even more time because he wanted to play DRS chicken with us in the final 2 laps, so he's clearly wanted to entertain himself. We've managed to save the battery, we've managed to look after the tyres because tyre wear spiked up a little bit higher than expected, obviously, because of the spin. But we can still get 11th and, you know, have some fun on the final lap. So DRS and the overtake button being used as Sergio wins the race in the Mercedes. We're going to get C by the time we get to the chicane. We lose the rear a little bit through the first part. The second part is even worse, and we lose the rear again on the exit. It's a very scruffy chicane, and he's going to draw alongside us, but we just have the legs on the straight to hold him off and finish in P11.
Yeah, that was pretty scruffy, but we got him. Ah, that mistake, man. Ah, that's annoying. That mistake did me no favours. I genuinely think P8 was on, man.
And that is the end of the race. We do finish in P11 in the end, and it is quite frustrating because that mistake really ended our race. We lost a good 10 seconds, I believe. We finished 9 seconds off Nico in the end, who did get P8. So I think we were faster, slightly faster than Nico. You can see Azim finished 7th, so the maximum was P8 in the end. And Finley also dropped out of the train, which I completely forgot to mention, along with Ortiz dropping back as well. So it was definitely on. Our top 10 was definitely on the cards. It's just really frustrating with that spin. But there are a lot of positives to take from this as well. It's hard to overtake on this game, so making up 7 places and getting a few points is quite nice. Thomas did not have a great race at all. It was a really messy race from him, but it could be worse. It's only CSS, it's not a tournament that people like anyway. But the pace was really good, and I think I'm starting to click with this game now in terms of setup, because this was the first time where I drove with a setup that I was fully comfortable with, and the pace did show, and the racecraft was good apart from the spin, and there's no point fixating on it. The main thing is the pace was good, the racecraft was good, and we'll carry that into future races with PR. So guys, hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more, check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already, and as always, take care, and I'll see all of you in the next one.